because that's going to affect your practice. How about your spiritual maturation? You're maturing. How are you maturing spiritually? Because by spiritual disciplines, spiritual maturations, what comes next is what we call, or what I've heard called, defining moments. Decisions. Think about it. Life brings all kind of defining moments. And we have to, at that time, make a choice, a decision. And how do you make your decision or your choice? Spiritual disciplines, spiritual maturation, defining moments. Are we still okay in the meeting? I'm trying to bring you back. I know it's a lot of stuff, it's a lot of nuggets, but the whole point of the fact is that we're having this meeting. John is talking to the Christian body, and he's making sure that they're prepared to withstand the times that they're in. God is talking to you and me, letting you know that there's an attack against the family, and he wants to tell you some points that you need to institute in your family, in your life, to protect you from what's going on in the environment. Amen. So the first is your pedigree. The second is your practice. The third point is this. Purpose. Right there in verse 8 in the B part. The Son of God appeared for this purpose, to destroy the works of the devil. Do you know what your purpose is? How many know? How many know what their purpose is? Amen. 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 I know sometimes, I don't know. I'm still working that out. I'm trying to figure it out. Well, I can give you this right now until God clearly gives you what your purpose. This is your purpose. What Christ did is to destroy the works of the devil. That's your purpose. Now, what are the works of the devil, you might ask? Right? I mean, I know I'm dealing with some mature Christians, but you say, well, what are the works of the devil? Well, in John 10:10, he says what? The thief comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. But I've come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. Is that right? Amen. So the works of the devil is, the devil comes to kill. So let me ask you, your purpose then is everywhere that you go, are you bringing life to the situation? You want to know what a purpose is? You want to know what your purpose is? When you go any place and there is death going on, do you bring life to the situation? I was talking to my brother yesterday. He said, everybody has the ability to bring a smile on people's faces. Everybody. Some of us brings a smile on people's face when we come into a situation. You want me to finish it? In case those that didn't catch it. Some of us bring a smile to a situation when we come into the room. Others bring a smile to the face when they're leaving the room. Are people glad to see when you go? A purpose. The devil also comes to steal. So instead of us stealing, we should always be in a position of restoring and reconciliation. Wherever you're at, if the devil's stealing, you need to be restoring. That's a purpose. That's your purpose. Is the devil destroying wherever you're at? Then what should you be doing? Building up. That's your purpose. All of us in this room right now can do that. Does anybody in here can't do that? So there should be no doubt in your mind now when you leave this room of what God has called you to do as a purpose. The other thing that John said in that book, in this chapter, in the 11th verse, another purpose that each and every one of us is capable of doing is this. For this is the message which you have heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. We can do that. Amen? Amen. That's your purpose. To love one another. Everything, and I think Sister Julie Tamez said this week before last her message, everything that we do should be motivated by love. Everything should be motivated by love. Not that kind of, what they call it, sloppy agape. Sloppy agape. That ooey, that kind of love. I mean, that emotional love is good at a certain time, but love sometimes can be tough. Love can be tough too. It ain't just always touchy-feely nice. What about that tough love? No, son, you're not going to do that. Not here. In my house. I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about in my house. So when we're having our family meetings, when John was talking to the children here in the church, he says, understand your purpose. So mother, father, couple, when you're having your family meeting, do you talk about your pedigree? Do you talk about your practices? And then do you talk about your purposes? Your kids' purpose. And then finally, let's look at the fourth one. And that's found, we read in that 3rd chapter, starting at verse 22. And whatever we ask, we receive from him, because we keep his commandments and do the things that are pleasing in his sight. This is his commandment, that we believe in the name of his Son, Jesus Christ, and love one another, just as he commanded us. The one who keeps his commandments abides in him, and he in him. We know by this that he abides in us by the Spirit which he has given us. So the last point that I want to point out is his promise. I like the P's. Pedigree, practice, purpose, promise. Precepts, promises, principles. Promises. Are you talking to, as John talked to these believers, about the promises of God? He said in there that if whatever we ask, we receive from him, because we keep his commandments and do the things that are pleasing in his sight. You have the guarantee of a promise from God. We got to hold on to that. We got to understand that when we go to God and we know we've looked at ourselves, our practices are, as best as we can.